got some. We're gonna share some of our predictions for all NBA, all defense, and the rookie teams. I forget there's only one lineup for there's two for all defense and all NBA, and only one all rookie like start five,
Well,
right? What
there's 3 All NBA
three all
teams,
NBA?
first, second, and third,
Okay,
and then 2 for defense, 2 for rookie.
two.
But the
Okay, three,
rookie,
two,
I mean,
two.
the second one, it's always kind of like,
It's like who are these guys? It's
yeah,
just the guys that got more minutes usually and didn't mess up.
yeah.
Okay, so if you, I'm trying. What do you want to start with? Because I feel like it's tough.
I think. How about this? We don't even do a second all rookie team. We just run. We'll start with the all rookie, and we just go with the first one because, like I said, the second one, it's just kind of like you're picking rookies that played a lot of minutes on bad teams, like the Pistons and stuff. So
Okay, so rookies, I think obviously LaMelo, Anthony Edwards, boom, lock it in.
yep.
Bigs is tough.
Which, by the way, for the all rookie team, there are no position requirements. It's just the 5 best rookies. So you don't
Okay.
technically have to have a center.
Okay, because I would
Or
put Halliburton in there. Halliburton deserves to be in there. Tyrese
yep.
Halliburton.
Which those 3 are the rookie of the year finalists. So
Okay.
they're locks.
Yeah, that was. And then 4 and 5 is where it gets tough. It's really where you want to. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up the rookies. But if you want,
You're good.
if you want to,
Yeah,
sure.
for me, I would throw in the Melo Ball, obviously Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. Those 3 are, like I said, locks. After that, I was a really big fan, which once again, he played a lot of minutes on a bad team, but I thought Sadiq Bey for the Pistons had a really good year this year. I think he shot like 43% from deep. He only averaged like 9 points per game or something, but for a rookie, I mean, he had a really solid season. So he would be on my first team. After that, to me, it's sort of a toss up between like Emmanuel Quickly, Desmond Bain, Jay Tate, some of those guys, which I mean, Tate, he played on the Rockets and they were terrible. So I tend to lean towards Desmond Bain and Quickly. And I think between those two, I'd probably go Emmanuel Quickly. I
Yeah.
just thought he had a lot more shining moments, which Desmond Bain, I mean, once again, another guy who killed it from 3 this year, was a really good impact player off the bench for the Grizzlies. But I think that just with the way the Knicks are built, I thought that Emmanuel Quickly had a lot bigger of an impact because he was an offensive spark plug that they needed a lot of the times, that could come in and instantly score. So, yeah, I liked Emmanuel Quickly. I thought he did a really good job for a team that doesn't necessarily have like a real true like quality starting point guard, which is no disrespect to the guys they have over there. I think Emmanuel Quickly showed a lot of potential for that team. So I'd have that 5: LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton Quickly, and Sadiq Bey as my top 5. Which also, we're gonna get into the all NBA teams later, but we already made a post about them. So if that was just my personal predictions that I made, but there might be some variance from who I would put. That was just what I predicted the NBA would actually do,
Yeah.
with some slight tweaks.
Gotcha. So yeah, I would throw quickly in there for my fourth spot, and then fifth, it's tough. I would actually go Patrick Williams just because been a solid defender all season. He was pretty consistent from the start. And obviously he got a little better, but there was reliability to him that some of the other guys had. And I know the pick was very heavily scrutinized. I think he was picked at 4, but it seems to be what the Bulls wanted, kind of a 3-and-D
Right.
type person. He's got some upside on offense. He showed a little bit of other scoring abilities. Granted, just small sample sizes, but obviously there's optimism they could grow from that. So yeah, he would be my fifth option there, for that spot. But yeah, Sadiq Bey, excuse me, and Desmond Bain, those guys also deserve consideration for my top 5. So all right, so there's that. All right, defensive.
Do you just want to do one team like we just did, or you want to do both? Because
Let me start with one
they do
team,
too.
and then I'll
Right.
go both. So obviously, I'm gonna throw Ben Simmons in there. This one we have to have positions, right? You have to have at least center,
Yeah.
forward, guard.
Yeah.
Simmons would be the guard. I would throw Drew Holiday as the other guard. Draymond, and then I would put Gobert in there, and it's tough because can I consider Embiid a forward? He's more of a center because if not,
Technically, he is eligible at forward, which I think this is mainly for the all NBA purposes, but I think they did that because they want him and Jokic both in the first team.
Okay, because
But
otherwise, yeah.
statistically, he's never played a single minute as a forward
Okay, well then I'm
at
not gonna
all.
do that.
But he is eligible, so if you want to do it, go for it. I personally, when I built my predictions, I did it based on the positions they actually played. So like, I didn't try to move people around. Like I played Luka as a guard because he's sort of a 1-2. But I mean, he's like eligible at forward. LeBron, I think last year was eligible at point guard. I don't think he is this year, but there's some weird stuff like that.
But otherwise, I want to throw like maybe Michael Bridges would be the other forward. I'm trying to think forward wise though, because I feel like there's someone better than him, and I'm like blanking on it, and then I'm gonna remember later.
I will say Jimmy Butler
Actually,
led the league in steals.
okay, I see. That's what I forgot. I forgot about Jimmy. So I would put Jimmy instead of him there. See, there's off, and then maybe, yeah, and then I would put number 2. He would be my forward on the second team. Very close, him and Jimmy, and then I would put so for second team, I put number 2. I think Michael Bridges deserves love, and then since I couldn't put Embiid on first team, and it was very close to him and Gobert to be on the first team for center, I would put Embiid there. I already said Drew, so I'd put probably Marcus Smart, and then I put Dejounte Murray as the other guard. So yeah.
All right.
Okay. So we managed. Okay. Yeah. So we managed to talk it through. So that's my second team: Dejounte Murray, Marcus Smart. Number 2, Michael Bridges from the Suns. I always mix them up, so I want to make sure I emphasize that. And Embiid. That would be my second team.
My first team is the exact same as your first team. I think that's probably a lot of people's first team. Ben Simmons, Drew Holiday. You can make an argument for not Drew Holiday, some other guys, but I think he was just more consistent than a lot of them. Jimmy Butler led the league in steals, and then Draymond and Gobert. I mean, Ben, Gobert, and Draymond are the Defensive Player of the Year finalists, so it's pretty much a lock. They'll be first team. And then Jimmy leading the league in steals, and also just the elite level defense he plays. I don't know how you can leave him off.
Yeah.
But yeah, same exact for the first team. The second team, Embiid's got to be on there. I mean, realistically, if just from a defensive perspective, to take offense out of it, I would still pick Embiid over Gobert if I had to build a team. I think he's just more mobile. He's more able, and I also think he's a stronger post defender against other post scorers. I would say Gobert's better as a help defender, but even there, like Embiid's not bad. He's elite level help defender. So yeah, I would personally take Embiid, but I mean, Gobert's a Defensive Player of the Year finalist. A lot of people have him as the favorite to win, so he's going to be on there.
Yeah.
I'm throwing in a guy that I mean, you're a big fan of this dude, but Matisse Thybulle, he's got to be a guard for me.
Yeah.
I think he was like second in the league in steals, but his minutes compared to everybody on there is like crazy low. And so if he was playing starter quality minutes, the guy, I mean, he might be the best perimeter defender in the whole league right now. Like he is a monster. He locks people up. He just has a knack for stealing the ball easy. And I think it's honestly crazy that Philadelphia has him, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid on the same team. Like just the defensive powerhouse.
Danny Green, who's a solid defender when he's locked in.
Yeah. Tobias Harris is not a slouch. Like I mean, the defensive powers they could be is pretty crazy. Especially if Thybulle can develop his offensive game to become like more reliable player.
Just be a 3-and-D guy. Just be more consistent jumpers.
Yeah.
What's really holding him back.
Yeah, because then he could earn more minutes, and we know that'd be crazy valuable for them defensively. So I'm putting him in there. I got to put Giannis on the second team. I mean, he just always puts up really good statistical numbers. I don't think he was near as good as he was last year, where he won Defensive Player of the Year controversially. But I mean, the Bucks' defensive scheme is built around him. Without him, they don't have the level of defense that they do. Obviously, Drew Holiday has massively helped when it comes to the perimeter, but when it comes to locking down the paint, Brook Lopez puts up elite numbers, but I think that's because of the way that they have built it around Giannis and his roaming and all that kind of stuff. I would also personally take this guy over Gobert if I had to build my team, but I'm putting Bam Adebayo in there.
Yeah, Bam was
I think he's also eligible at forward. That's the only reason I think I'd put him in there. If you had to put him purely as a center, I'd have to leave him off because Gobert and Embiid. But his versatility to switch, it makes Miami so deadly. Um, and then I might be biased, but the last spot to me is Marcus Smart. It was tough between him, Bridges, and a few other guys. And Marcus had a lot of games that he was injured, so you can make the argument that he doesn't deserve to be there because of missing games. But I still think he's one of the 10 best defenders in the whole league when he was on the court, and especially a Boston team that was a little inconsistent from defense this year. He was like the one bright spot. So, yeah, that's my second team: Marcus Smart, Thibault, Giannis, Bam, Embiid.
Yeah, still a pretty good one. Yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable. Yeah, Giannis didn't impress me much this year. Maybe that's why. Maybe I was a little too harsh on him. But and then
I mean,
Bam,
it was a
I
drop
didn't.
off from last
Yeah,
year.
I didn't think about Bam just because I purely thought of him as a center, so that's why.
Yeah,
But he would if I had to take off Mikal Bridges, if there's someone like creeping to take his spot because I had him as a forward, I would put Bam there. So
yeah.
it's that's very tough. But okay. So lastly, all NBA. Are we doing all three or just two, three, two?
It's up to you. I mean,
Well,
like I said, I made a post about all three, so like I technically already have mine.
okay.
But if you want to do all your 3 years, let's go for it.
So let me think first. First team. I'm gonna go CP3 and Steph as my guards.
All right.
Giannis as the other forward.
Okay. And remember, Embiid is eligible forward if you want to put him there.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do the way he played.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's why I'm thinking about it. It's either Embiid or Jokic here. I'm gonna go Jokic because he was also available for all. He played almost every game.
Right.
The last forward spot. I'm gonna go Jason Tatum.
Really?
I just feel like he's
My boy.
been more impressive than. I know number two's been good, but he's had to come up bigger, be bigger than number two has had to for his team, and he has. He's had those explosions that we saw, and I think sometimes, with even in other sports, it's just like there's always a saying like you're never gonna make your first All Star or Pro Bowl the first year you deserve to. You're gonna have to have a year where you don't make it, even though you should have, and then the second year is when you actually make it. When you're
Right.
second,
Like
actually
Devin Booker supposed to make the Pro Bowl or not the Pro Bowl, the All Star
All-Star
game
game.
last year.
Took a
Should have
while.
made it this year.
It took a
but he
while
was
for
an
Dame to
alternate.
be a lock.
Yeah.
It took him like more than 2 years. It took him like more than one snub. He had to get snubbed like 2 or 3 times. I feel like Dame.
Yeah. Bradley Beal wasn't a
Yeah.
starter until this year, even though he was leading the league in scoring for
Yeah. So
the last 3.
I'm gonna put Tatum there. So that's my CP3, Steph, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. That's my first team.
All right.
Second team is where I would put Damian, Luca, Joel, Julius Randle, and then I'd put number 2 there.
Okay.
Third team. I would put. It's tough. I'm gonna put Gobert in, just like on the pose. And then I'm gonna put Sabonis in as a forward because I feel like he's played in.
Okay.
And then LeBron. I can't leave out LeBron. And then Bradley Beal.
I will say some people are leaving out LeBron because he missed quite a few games. I
Yeah.
think he played 54 out of 72.
Okay.
Which is still a lot, but
Yeah. Bradley Beal, and then point guard for my last spot is gonna be Russell Westbrook.
Mr. Triple Double.
So there's.
I know on our post that has been pretty controversial that I actually left him off.
But once again, it's not. I mean, like you said, so just to clear it, those aren't necessarily your predictions, just what you think will end up. Like
Right,
if gun to your
right.
head, or 100, all your money on the line, you're like, okay, this is the smart bet. This may not be what I think, but this is how I think it's
Yeah.
going to pan out.
This is the post was what I thought the NBA would do, but the only caveat I made was I didn't consider Embiid and guys out of position because I know I truly think they should just take away positions if they're going to do that. There's positional requirements for a reason. Embiid's a center. He statistically did not play a single minute this year with another guy considered the center where he was a forward. So that was my only caveat there. So But instead of the post, I'll do what I would do personally, which the post, some of them kind of line up, but got to have Steph Curry in there. I mean, the guy led the league in scoring. It's impossible to not have him in there. I'm taking Jokic at center. I think he's going to win MVP. I think he should be MVP. Just the amount of stats that he's top 10 in is crazy. So those two are locks for me. I got to throw Giannis in there again. I mean, just regular season, the guy's a monster. It's so hard to not keep him in the first team because he just puts up insane amount of rebounds, tons of points, and he puts up a lot of defensive stats. So you got to put Giannis in there. I might be a little biased because I love Damian Lillard, but I'm putting Dame in the first team. Guard was it was one of the tougher spots I think in the whole group because there's just so many good guards this year. But I'm putting Dame, and then the last forward spot is the tough spot. I mean, I like your ballsy pick of Jason Tatum, but to me, I wouldn't put him quite there yet. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna put Jimmy Butler. In the post, I didn't have him in the first team, but I'm gonna put Jimmy Butler there. I think he had a really quietly good year. I think he averaged like 24, 7, and 7. Which is just really good. I think his passing has been a really underrated aspect of his game so far. And also just leading the league in steals, the defensive presence that he is. I'm putting Jimmy. And also, I mean, it was clear when he was missing games, like the Heat were losing, right? And so when he came back, the Heat were really good. So my first team, Dame, Steph, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Jokic. Second team, you have to put Embiid in there. I mean, he was first team quality, but like I said, I'm only putting one center, so he's going to be on the second team. I got to put Julius Randle in there. I mean, just the fact that the Knicks are they're the fourth seed, right? Not the fifth or the
Yeah,
fourth.
they're the fourth seed. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the Knicks are the fourth seed on top of his All NBA level play, it's. I mean, you could have an argument for putting Julius Randle in the first team, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Kawhi in the second team. I mean, he still had a really good year defensively. He just had a typical Kawhi year, which I think is warranting the second team. I'm going to put Chris Paul in there. Just the leadership, the massive jump that the Suns took this year with adding him. I think obviously Monty Williams deserves credit, Jay Crowder, some of the other additions, but the main guy who deserves a lot of the credit has to be Chris Paul. This last guard spot is so tough. So many good guards. I'll put Luka. I had him in the post, and I feel like I'm lacking creativity there. But once again, stat sheet stuffer,
Yeah.
regular season award. It's tough to leave him out of there. The third team, starting with the center spot because it's the easiest for me. I got to put Gobert in there. Once again, a lot of people consider him the defensive player of the year favorite. I don't think he should win it. I still think Ben Simmons should, but I would have him second right there. And while personally I'd build my team more so around a guy like Bam Adebayo, I think Gobert is just more impressive in the regular season. I got to put LeBron in there. I hear people on like the missing games argument, but when LeBron did play, he was having one of the better seasons of his career in this latter half of his time in the league. So you got to have him in there. I'm putting Kyrie Irving, even though I hate the guy. The 50, 40, 90 is just really impressive to me. I think he's like one of 9 players to do it. And obviously, like some guys that have done it haven't been the quality of Kyrie Irving. I think it was like Jose Calderon did it once. But obviously, he didn't have the volume of shots that Kyrie was taking. And also, the Nets didn't necessarily have a fully healthy team for most of the year. And outside of Kyrie being dramatic and missing for a large variety of reasons, I think he was one of the more stabilizing presences for the Nets. And he had the best year of his career, which I don't think is a coincidence that he's playing with the best team that he's ever played with, just pure talent wise. But yeah, I feel like it's hard for me to leave him off with the 50, 40, 90. The second guard spot is tough, but I'm putting Russell Westbrook over Bradley Beal.
Okay.
I love Bradley Beal's scoring, but I think the energy, the leadership, the triple double, the assist, everything that Westbrook brings to the table. I think it was an underrated trade for Washington. Moving on from John Wall, who I love John Wall, but Westbrook, I think he's just better. And I still think averaging a triple double is crazy. I know that to a lot of people it's sort of lost its allure, but just the fact that he does it is still just so mind boggling to me. So I'm Kyrie, Westbrook, LeBron, Gobert. The last forward spot, there's so many options that could be here. Zion Williamson, Jason Tatum, all these guys, but I'm going with the same logic that I had, which is what I think the NBA would think too. And I'm putting Jason Tatum in there, and I think it's just because he's taken the jump. It's a team that's dealt with injuries. He's been the one consistent guy there, even though he missed COVID and has had to deal with using an inhaler before games and all these things. He's had an offensive explosion this year, and he led his team to the playoffs, which guys like Zion did not do, even though they had a really awesome season. So, yeah, I'm putting Tatum in there. So, those are my three teams.
Alrighty. So yeah, I have the only other on my teams. The only people I think I left off that I would consider, especially third team, would have been Jimmy. I think I left him off, and Bam. Just
Yeah.
Bam maybe for like if I actually had to use that to firing five, I would pick Bam over Gobert just because of versatility. And then obviously if we can't count LeBron because of the games, I would put Jimmy instead of him at that forward spot. So. Alrighty, well that'll pretty much wrap it up for us for this episode. A lot happened, a lot of stuff we went over. So, but regardless, as per usual, wherever you're listening or watching, if you can just rate, comment, subscribe, and then check out our Instagram, which is @ShutUpAndBallPod. Like John mentioned, this we put up the post of what we think the NBA will pick, and imagine we'll have other posts as well. So that'll be fun. But obviously, enjoy the playoffs this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see. Obviously, we'll have an episode next week, NBA. I'm not sure if we'll just do one per week now or two. We'll see how it goes. But regardless, we will be back next week, and maybe react to some playoff games, how they're going. So, otherwise, if your team is in the playoffs, hopefully, hope things go well for you. If you're not in the playoffs like me, just sit back and try to enjoy it. I know it can be tough when you don't have a horse in the race. But hey, sometimes those are the best games to watch when you don't have a horse in the race. So, otherwise, everyone enjoy your weekend and enjoy your May, and we'll see you in May. Regardless, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your night, and we'll see you next time.